Hey, thank you for watching, listening. Of course, thank you for subscribing. Ooh, phenomenal. And we're doing this amazing series called Face Your Giants. Face Your Giant could be one. But before we do that, we're going to have our incredible joke. I say, dripping with sarcasm. Hey, what is the frog's favorite year? This is an easy one because a frog's favorite year is leap year. And, hello, today is leap day, right? So leap year, leap day. There's a little bit of, method to the madness on that one, just a little bit. But we're going to talk today, another episode in our series on facing giants. We've been talking about the Israelites going to possess the promised land and facing giants, physical giants who are actually there. We talked a little bit about what are the giants in your life. A giant could be a job situation that seems impossible, intimidating, makes you scared. It could be a neighbor. It could be somebody that you see and you're like, ugh, you don't want to, you avoid them because, they're whatever. They're a giant to you because they're scary or freaky or they overpower, intimidate, whatever. But we all have giants. I had a friend of mine one time, she refused to do public speaking because she had a failure in her past. And it was a giant in her life. It intimidated her till her dying day, which is sad. She never overcame that giant. But I want to give you another episode on this series, and this is the classic David and Goliath. You can't talk about giants, in my opinion, in the Bible without bringing up David and Goliath. That's like the fat pitch, the elephant in the room. Here we have little David, shepherd boy, facing big, huge Goliath, the giant. Some theologians tell us Goliath was probably around almost 9 feet tall, maybe a little bit taller than that. And he would come out, you read the story, 1 Samuel 17, and he would come out every day and he yelled to the Israelite, warriors under Saul's leadership, send out a man to fight me, we'll fight each other, and whoever wins, then the other side's, surrender, and then we won't have all this mass killing. So Goliath was very intimidating. When the Israelites heard him day after day after day, they ran away in fear, including Saul. Everybody was intimidated. This whole army was intimidated by this one man who was 9 feet tall. Granted, he had, big spear, and he had a person who ran in front of him with, his weapon or his shield and all this stuff. He was very, very intimidating. However, David, little tiny shepherd boy, he comes and he hears Goliath. And this is the classic underdog story. This story goes down in history. Everybody has this sense of value for underdogs. I mean, I love underdogs. I watch, basketball, college basketball, and I'm always cheering for the underdog. And we're in basketball season right now. So coming into March Madness, getting close to that, which is just another rabbit trail. But we think about David and Goliath. And I appreciate that David, everybody heard and saw the same person, same mantra that David heard. But the difference is David was offended. He was offended with Goliath. How dare you defy the armies of the living God?
The audacity.
And none of those other warriors, seasoned warriors, were offended. They all saw and listened to what was in front of them. And they didn't put the God filter. They didn't put the God lens on to see things accurately, to hear things through truth. David did. Unlikely, unpolished, unpracticed. I mean, granted, he slew a lion and a bear. That's not the same as a giant who's been a warrior for years. And that's what Saul said to him. Dude, you're a little boy herding sheep. This guy's been a warrior for years. You have no, and so, there are all kinds of things. But David nevertheless kept the God lens and the God filter for his perspective. And when he came to face the giant, he absolutely had God and knew with certainty God on his side. God working through him. God could do what seemed to be impossible. And so in this sense, I would encourage you. You can look at the giant or you can look at God. The giant will defeat you. God will give you victory. Pretty simple. Pretty straightforward. And you say, well, I've done that before and I didn't get victory. But watch and see, because a lot of times a situation happens and God may not be exactly what you want or the outcome, but God can work around and actually work through. And sometimes you'll see God will have a better outcome than what you had initially envisioned if you don't quit and if you don't stop keeping your eyes on God. So I just encourage you, in any giant situation, be sure to keep God as the filter and the lens through which you hear and see. Because again, God in you is greater than any opposition around you. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, subscribing. Thank you for hitting the notification bell right there. And here's a question. Here's a question for you to answer in the comments. What helps you keep your focus on God? You're like, what do you mean by that? Well, think about it and then answer that in the comments. Thanks so much.